it. Golden greetings. Blessings to everyone who's here. Karibu, bienvenidos. Aloha. It's the 24th of September. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wellness Wednesday. Everyone. RevDocD here in the building, representing Mother Earth Reverence Farms and Ministries, as well as Wellness Veterinary Clinics. Today's presentation is about holistic integrative egg layers for poultry production. Okay, what happened to this slide? But wide layers. What's using egg layers is absolutely intentional because we want to have one of the 5 animal production systems. There's a qualifier. There's some qualifiers, and we certainly make sure that when you're in an urban situation that you're able to provide sustenance for you and your family. Sustainable possibilities, small scale, organic, and it's quite simple. So we love the KISS principle, keeping it super simple, and it's one of those that are actually simple and easy. It's nice to do it because eggs are just the nutrition of the egg. We won't get into the actual nutrition of the egg presentation. It's one of the most complete proteins, clean proteins one can eat. So it's also economically accessible as far as cost is concerned. It's accessible. And for women and children, it is quite simple. So we're looking at this on a global scale, coming from a womanist theological perspective. Rhode Island Red is the breed of choice, and it's because of that. And they are known to be very productive egg layers. It's one of the go-to breeds for egg laying. And when I say hardy, that means they can withstand basically a wide spectrum of conditions. For example, heat and cold. So I usually recommend 1 pen per person. So if you have a family that's just say 4 to 5 people, 1 pen per person, that would be plenty enough to feed your family. And you'll have extra probably. So if you want to create an enterprise for yourself, you can get a few more. And I'll also put in here and say that hens are much happier when there's a male around. But just keep in mind that the rooster is going to make some noise. Cock-a-doodle too in the morning. And those things, if you have neighbors, a lot of people who raise chickens urban, they do not have this because of that. They're going to be cock-a-doodle doing at early hours, and some folks do not appreciate that. Yeah. And we're going to talk about this later in the week in a couple of days about vermiculture and vermicomposting can be potentially a food source for the chickens. We know they like to scratch, and we want to actually potentially think about range free. We're not really supporting, for the most part, just keeping them locked down. They need to be range fed. They can scratch around. They eat a lot of insects. and pasture raise them in essence. That's a healthy thing for them mentally. They'll be happier, and a happy chicken is a laying chicken.
Mm.
Boy, this is just really off the scale here. My sides got out of whack. Well, sorry for that. So there are, I'm saying challenges. Here we've got two visuals of the chicken coop is, that hen there, she's laying her egg, and then you see the field where they're out scratching around. And this is quite a big field. Obviously, this is, well, that's an optimal situation. So we just want to talk about holistic ways, and just back again to say keeping it super simple. So when we're talking speak holistic, we're looking at the whole being. We're not just awaiting issues to arise and then treating it in that sense. We want to be in a more proactive, preventative mindset. And that's really what holistic integrative medicine is about. Looking at the nutrition, what we're feeding, and preparing the environment, prevention. And as I was mentioning, with the hens, having a rooster there, they'll be happier if they're in that situation. So that's what you want. You want happiness for them. So that's pretty much what I'm saying in regards to holistic. And then we are going to integrate certain methodologies. So here we go. So the location, we surely want a dust-free environment because a lot of the challenges that poultry face are upper respiratory. And so the best bedding is hemp bedding, industrial hemp bedding that you can order. And if you want a source, you can message me about it. Or you can just go on out with Dr. Google and find some hemp bedding. You can simply just order it online. And for keeping the parasites away, you can use mint and oregano in the bedding to keep those critters away. They can get lice, mites, these ectoparasites that feed off of their blood. So we have some methodology to repel them. Biosecurity, and the doctor of veterinary medicine exam, that's me. We want to at least be there to help you get started, get your setup, you know where you have your setup, that's important, your space, when you're having them, will need to have an area where you can have products to clean and disinfect the area. And this is another aspect of what we call population dynamics. You don't want them to feel crowded. They need not be crowded. Because when you have high numbers in a small space, you're also getting into disease transmission. And so for folks who are doing backyard poultry production, you want to keep your numbers relative to the space. So hygiene is important for you yourself, whatever shoes you're wearing, or maybe just some depending on where you're at or what you're doing. You can have a boot bucket to dip your boots in or your shoes in when you go in and out. You have that type of what you can keep to prevent disease. Security. This is an issue because a lot of mammals, your smaller mammals, love eggs. So how are you going to keep those critters out? Mm-hmm. That also affects your security issues. Contact with other species. There's possums, raccoons, um, other critters, four-legged dogs, cats, these things. So overall, you want to keep them comfortable with a low stress environment. Nutrinourishment. Well, that didn't come out too well. 16 and 19% protein. No idea what that's supposed to do. You gotta fix that. We need at least 16 to 19%. So here again, hemp is a great opportunity for feed, livestock feed. Hemp has a high protein values, full of omegas, and it's a great product to use. More nourishment, gut wellness, you want to take that into consideration. The microbiome. So we usually recommend a salt block, and we are into prevention, so we also want to make sure you get your vaccines. A lot of those are offered via the water, and sometimes they do need injections. So you do want to cultivate relationships with your local doctor, veterinarian, animal doctor. You will quarantine newbies for a couple of weeks. That will keep them separate from the main. Chickens love to give themselves a dirt bath. This helps keep the parasites at bay. And you'll notice that if they find a little dusty area in the lawn or in the field, they love to give themselves a dirt bath. Instead of water, you can add a bit of apple cider vinegar and a splash environment where that helps with the microbiome, the pH of the gut. Keep them happy, healthy. I've already mentioned the hemp seed. And then I call it animal welfare care. So some in, basics in handling them and keeping them happy, especially the babies, clean, dry, and warm. You got to keep that in the back of your head. That's the triad, trifecta. Clean, dry, and warm. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go more into the biosecurity because I am an epidemiologist. So we need to make sure that we're utilizing proactive preventative methods to sanitize, disinfect, and neutralize potential pathogenic microorganisms, also known as microbes. So, depending on your setup, as I've said, you want to get yourself some coveralls. So, I don't know, like if you're needing to drive to work, for example, you might want to have a pair of coveralls to get yourself ready for work, put your coveralls on. Personal protective equipment is what coveralls are. You can take care of your chickens, let them out, along with their canine friends, and check their water, check their feed, whatever things that you need to do with them in the morning. and you leave that equipment, per se, your boots, your paws, near the chicken coop. You don't use the same boots and walk inside your home. Keep everything separate. There's ways to mitigate potential disease, chemical. So a lot of times, if you have a boot bucket or a boot pan that you dip your feet in, you use a dilute bleach solution. That's chemical mitigation. And then physical mitigation is some of what I mentioned just now with your personal protective equipment. I mentioned spacing, numbers. Population dynamics are so important when it comes to raising animals. So you want to make sure they're not crowded. We talked about the and feeding. So keeping their water area, their feed times that you get some mold on there or water gets in where the feed is. You need to clean that out. And I would say at least once a week, make sure that you're keeping the food and water areas clean. And this is just another emphasis of quarantine and newbies to the scene. So I did mention the boot bath, the trough some people use, a little bleach. There's a product called Virex that you can dilute in water. I mentioned the coveralls in the boots, quarantine new arrivals, and people are nosy, but I really feel like you need to not have visitors or minimize the visitors or just have them view from a distance. And then you want to have limited or no engagement with other poultry premises that you yourself. You want to keep animals separated so they can't be wandered all over other people's locations. It's important. We talked about prevention with vermin. Whatever you need to do to keep the area protected for the chickens. You know, their field lice, rats, possums, all these types of small mammals that can potentially interact. And you want to minimize contact with other avian species such as butterflies. You do have concerns with avian influenza, for example, and that's usually transmitted via butterfly, ducks, geese, for example. So if you see any of that, then you can potentially have some challenges there with disease transmission. Just make sure you have some methods by which you eliminate that interaction. So I did talk a little bit about Rhode Island. This is what they look like. They're so beautiful and hardy. They are optimal species for aquariums. They're renowned for their unique red color, and hardiness, and productivity. They have an exceptional egg laying ability. They're very gentle, lovely to connect with, and they're great with children. This is one of the main reasons why I've chosen to be featured for egg layers. They can start relatively early, 17 to 22 weeks of age. So early on, you get a rapid return on your investment. And they live so these are some more statistics about the breed itself. So it's important to know a little bit about the breed before securing them. We do have a source to share with you, if you will. United States, Massachusetts, and guess what? Rhode Island. It actually is considered a dual purpose breed. It can be used for meat, but we're talking about eggs. And of course, the roosters are a little bigger than the hens. The roosters can get from 7.5 to 8.5, and the hens are just really about a pound less, 6.5 to 7.5 pounds. Their temperament, I've mentioned this, they're so friendly. They're very adaptable, various environments, easy to tame. They can be a bit loud, but yet they are gentle. And just like with other animal species, they do have an order, a pecking order. You can be aware of that as well. There may be a lean chicken, and they do have varieties of colors. So I do like the dark red, and they do have some that are black. So their egg layers are their egg laying. You get a lot of eggs out of this egg. So here are some visual examples. One at the top of the so-called chicken coop. You can see the hanging waterer. It's called. It's an aluminum piece of equipment that you have to fill it. They do have self-waterers. That's a different kind of setup. This one, you have to fill it. And it doesn't appear that this one in particular, this chicken coop, is movable. But they do have movable ones, which are fantastic. You can move this entire coop, for example, on spot this one. And that's where you get your eggs. Or you can just let them out and let them scratch or hang out in the grass. See over here in the middle. And then you want to close them up at night because we have night predators. Owls are the ones that come to mind. This lower photo shows them out in the grass, just scratching away. And they're eating bugs. They're not supposed to, but they do all day. And they love it. This other photo is showing a feed trough. Usually you keep these elevated because you cannot necessarily potty train a chicken. They just poop everywhere. So they'll poop in their food. So to keep the poop at a minimum, to keep the poop out of the feed bin, you need to elevate that position. That's my main takeaway. So I really prefer that we filter the water. You gotta filter the water for yourself. You need to filter the water for the animals. And we have a system for that as well, an online filter that you can connect to your hose to filter out just we just got a lot of chlorine that's being dumped in our water sanitation facilities, and it's a lot. So and there's other things that are in the water. Don't want to get into that. That's another webinar. But just filter the water. Mm-hmm. And various ways of using galvanized steel or aluminum that's easy to clean. Various supplies and equipment and the feed options range. That's what we are looking at. If they're kept locked down all day, every day, you're not going to be so happy. And of course, I don't necessarily want to say of course, but it is of course, because people are still wanting to spray in various areas. So just be aware. We have someone that's coming to do lawn work. Don't want to be using herbicides, pesticides, insecticides. They will be exposed to health. And permaculture, this is the raising of worms. Worms will be a great source of protein. So you can do this concurrently at the same time. And raising worms, you, your chickens, and those worms that you can, other types of worms that you can, mealworms, you can actually purchase. I like that option for feeding resources. So you just have to think about what's comfortable for you. So, so this helps with the crop and with the bowl and keeping the mineral levels up with the salt bowl. And they produce it for having salt available. I don't believe in utilizing any hormones. That's not used. They do like scraps, scraps from the kitchen. You make it a salad, when you have leftovers from the salad, and other non-meat scraps. Give that to the chicken. They'll love it. So we just mentioned vermiculture, vermicompost. Here's a little few visuals here of red worms. And on the lower right, those are scraps, non-animal scraps, non-animal protein scraps. And there's so many ways, there's infinite ways to raise these babies. And I'm just showing a few ways here. Dulcinea fetula, those are red worms. They're known as newer worms, red worms, kind trout worms. I mean, they're used for fishing. It's a species of earth adapted to assist with the decaying of organic material. So organic material, living material like these scraps, so it's a great operation to have concurrently with the poultry production. They will provide protein, high quality protein for the chicken, and then you can actually use them in your soil garden or your soil food web. Yep. So I won't get into the details of this. I just want to put this slide. This has to do with vaccines and prevention for disease. Now, most of these you can put in the water, and then some of these will need to be given. I mean, they are available for farmers if you feel comfortable giving a vaccine. You can get them or have your veterinarian assist with giving them. We got to mention herpes virus, Newcastle is here, Marek's disease, you want to give for Newcastle, infectious bursal disease, encephalomyelitis, smallpox, laryngotracheitis, and Mycoplasma gallisepticum. Those are the so I'm keeping this super simple, educational, and maybe a little silly for you. So the key takeaways, your contact is the Rhode Island Reds are a top for backyard egg laying. The main concern is to keep them clean, dry, and warm, and assists in purifying their cavity. They are prolific egg layers. Yes, they are. They're friendly, docile, and are perfect for beginners, young people. You can teach a child, a 3, 4-year-old child, to assist with egg laying. It's a great educational tool as well to learn how to care for another being. So I offer this animal production system. Absolutely. We're Mother Earth Driven Farms and Ministry. We're 508c1a, and we focus on indigenous, sustainable, cold chain agribusiness. That's our email, hemp at greenpasturesagribusiness.com. And that's our phone number. Here we go. And here's a little cartoon for you. One of the chickens says, I'm a free range chicken, man. The other one says, well, big deal. Live in a gated community. And then at the bottom, actually, it's more of a coop co-op. So there's more visuals here of the babies, the baby chicks. And on the lower left, it's showing quite a large, relatively large range of heavy range fed chickens. The upper right is just a nice photo I put in of the Rhode Island Red. And then I wanted to re-emphasize we can teach our young treasures. As I was mentioning about your PPE, and he's got these boots there. So this is a nice little area where you can have your personal protective equipment. And we can teach our young people about the significance of, for example, washing your hands, disinfecting your shoes, which can be fomites, it's called fomites, as a potential disease transmission instrument. It's a fomite, and our own shoes can track in disease. And there's a nice door here as well. So this isn't open to anything to come in. We can close it off. That's important. So I see my last slide. Ooh, I'm just bumming the slides today. Well, we're going to be at the Orange County Farm Supply Harvest Festival in a few days. So it's harvest time, and we're going to share this in other food animal production systems, and we'll be sharing one of them tomorrow, same time, same bad channel. We appreciate you. I'm going to love on you and give you a kiss presentation all the way through Saturday. May we continue to be guided, gifted, and governed by Spirit. We will praying us out. We uplift and love one another. We love one spirit, one wellness, and singleness. Ashe, Shalom. Amen.